Hello and welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger on September 18, 2022. This has been a bit of a stressful weekend, but also a relaxing weekend. Now, some people say, how does that even work? Well, it's stressful because my computer is acting up. If my PC is not working. Relaxing because my PC is not working, so I can't hardly do anything internet related. I mean, I can still do them on the phone, but it's so tedious that I just like, if I'm going to get my computer fixed next week, I'll wait until next week to do everything. So suddenly, there's a lot of time on my hand. So it is kind of relaxing. And today happened to be a very bright, sunny day. At least it was. It's late at night now. That's why you guys are getting nothing but a black screen. Hopefully this is relaxing for you guys. I heard that the black screen is pretty relaxing for some people. So today was a very sunny day, so me and Kitten uh, went off to beautiful Granville Island, Vancouver. Now, if you have never been to Granville Island, Vancouver, I highly recommend it. It's a nice little area of the downtown Vancouver and a lot of homemade jewelries and artistic performances, food and very fancy restaurants, a lot of seafood, uh, beach, seagulls, boats, a lot of people. If you like beach scene, Granville Island is a must-have experience. What I always enjoy the most at Granville Island are the street performers, guys that go on stage with nothing but a guitar and sing their hearts out for people to donate money to them. Uh, Kitten and I watched a couple of these performances this afternoon, and one of the gentlemen that sang a song that touched a chord with me and sort of inspired today's episode. I don't remember the title of the song or the exact lyrics. But basically, it says time will get tough, but don't panic because everything will be okay. Now, many people who's worked with me will tell you that Johnny Tiger is very, very good under pressure. I don't panic much. I don't get overwhelmed easily. I don't get frazzled, even when pressure and work and project are piling up that much. I may get a little bit ragged around the edges sometimes, but I generally hold things together really, really good while people around me are having nervous breakdowns. Well, as long as it got nothing to do with credit card bills. A couple of days, Kitten asked me, is there anything that you fear in the world right now? And I said, yeah, every month when I see my credit card bill. Now, I said that as a joke, but it is not far from the truth because honestly, the only problem I really have, well, I mean, other than being blind and can't see shit, is that fi- my finance is still not very strong comparing to before the pandemic because there's so much work that's still missing. So my credit card bill just seem to climb higher and higher, and no matter how I try, I just can't seem to keep it down. It is a little bit depressing, but hey, no, we all have things that we need to struggle with in life. But when it comes to getting things done, getting projects, meeting deadlines and stuff like that, I am usually very, very strong psychologically. And I'm here to give you guys my little formula, and hopefully you guys can find this of help next time you run into stressful situations. Now, I will preface by saying that I'm by no means perfect. So this doesn't work 100% of the time. This doesn't even work 95% of the time. But if you are very disciplined in your mind, This may work 90% of the time, and that's really good. That's like taking away 90% of your stress, and that's good enough. When I'm faced with a bunch of things that need to get done, a bunch of things that have to get done, and a whole bunch of things that must get done, the key word here is priority. Okay? Now, this is something like Captain Obvious. A lot of people say, well, yeah, obviously it's about priority. But so often, when people tell you you just need to learn to prioritize, you just need to learn to prioritize, they don't really mean that. What they mean to say is, you have it all wrong. You should listen to me. I'll tell you how to prioritize things. My priorities are the right one, your priorities are the wrong one. So they're not really talking about priority. They're talking about they're right, you're wrong. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can easily sort this out in our own mind by following this little formula I'm going to give you guys today. And the little formula is no matter what things it is that you are jumping out of your chair, getting out of bed to go do, just zipping off to go accomplish, whatever it is, it can get sorted into one of four categories. And once you get good at sorting them into these four categories, you will have clarity, and with clarity will come relief. What are these four categories? Believe me, they are not complicated. When I tell you, you are going to say that is so obvious. You think we're idiots? You have to tell us that? No, I don't think you guys are idiots, but I believe that sometimes we overlook the simplest solutions, so it needs to be said. The four categories that we prioritize things with is number one, category number one, something that is important and urgent. Category number two, something that is not important and not very urgent. Category number three, something that is urgent but not quite as important. Category number four, something that is very important but maybe not quite as urgent. Now that sounds like I'm trying to do the lyrics of a rap song. You can probably make something out of that. Uh, but in all seriousness, this is a little formula. These four categories. Once you sort things through and put them in these categories, you will know very clearly what need to get done, what need to get done next, what might not need to get done now. So let me give you guys a little example of each category so we know what they look like. Number one, what is something that is very important and very urgent? Well, if you have a flight uh, to go see your relative, and your flight is at 4 o'clock, and it is already 2 o'clock, then this is now quite important and quite urgent. Uh, it's important because if you miss this flight, there's going to be a lot of rescheduling and hectic and hassles, and you may lose money, you may disappoint people that you were going to go see, people who are going to pick you up. Now you have to get in touch with them, and so on and so on and so on. Believe me, I missed a flight before. Very, very hectic. Okay? So it is important. Why is it very urgent? Well, because the plane is not going to wait for you. Uh, if you get there just a little bit late, they won't even let you in. Never mind onto the plane. So, needing to catch a plane to go for work or visiting family, especially long distance ones, very urgent, very important. Okay, that is. There's no question about that. It's very obvious. Number two, what is something that is not very important and not very urgent? Johnny Tiger writing a new song. Now, once upon a time, when I had a contract with a major label, that was work. Okay, I was a contract there. I had to write so many songs every month. So I had to write so many songs every month. That was my contractual obligation. So this was once upon a time very urgent, very important. But now, since I'm publishing myself on iTunes and Spotify and all this modern doodash, I can take my own sweet time about it. The world's not going to end if I don't publish another song for another 2 years. Uh, no one's going to lose sleep over that badly if I don't get it done today. So while me writing a new song, it might be important to me, might be important to people who like my music. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that urgent. It's not that important. Heck, I haven't published a new Johnny Tiger Experience podcast episode since last May, May of 2021. The world's still going around just fine. Some people asked about it. Some people might be a bit disappointed. Some people might have been a bit resentful. But you know what? You guys are still getting the daily video. And yes, I do miss an occasional video here and there. But it's not hurting anyone. It's not ending the world. Uh, so this is something that is not very urgent, not very important. Category number three, something that is urgent but not very important. Urgent but not very important. Meeting action figure deadlines. A lot of time when we collect action figures, there are deadlines. What are these deadlines? Because nowadays, let's say there's a new batch of Ninja Turtle coming out. They'll say, okay, guys, you'll have until the end of the month to give us your credit card number and tell us you want these. Otherwise, we'll close the pre-order and then you won't be able to get them anymore. Now, a lot of collectors, myself included, sometimes get lulled into thinking this is the end of the world. God, the end of the month is coming up. I need to get this Ninja Turtle. I really need this Ninja Turtle. Otherwise, I won't get them anymore. This is a time to take a deep breath and realize, okay, these are luxury items. These are action figures. These are, if you want to be blunt about it, these are toys. You not having them is not going to mean the end of the world or the end of your life. You're not going to lose sleep over it for more than maybe a couple of weeks if you are really, really uh, obsessed about it. Uh, Believe me, when I had to miss out on my Super Shredder pre-order, I felt devastated because I wanted a Super Shredder action figure for a long time. But after about a week, uh, I was like, yeah, Super Shredder, whatever. It's just another action figure. I have almost 1,000 action figures, so whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So those deadlines, they're urgent, but they're not very important. Now, what is something that is category number four? Something that is very important, but not very urgent. Well, let's say it is 6 o'clock at night and it's dinner time and you're hungry and you need to eat. Unless you are of some kind of special circumstances, like maybe health reason or something, eating is not really that urgent. You can eat now, you can eat an hour later, you can eat 10 hours later. And for most of us living in modern cities, it's not going to impact you that much, other than making you a bit cranky and tired and stuff like that. Right? Most of us honestly eat way more than human beings need to eat. And if we need to go 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours without eating, it is not going to impact us that much. That's why people regularly fast, a lot of them. So eating Obviously, it's important. You need to eat eventually. But eating really is not that urgent unless you have special health reason. So next time, when your mom, after putting dinner on the table, start nagging you, yelling at you, how come you're not sitting down and eating right away? And you can explain to them because while eating is very important, it is not very urgent. Now that we know what the four categories look like and we got some examples to go with them, uh, there's two little tricks that still need to happen for this to function, for this prioritizing to function. One is foresight. Why is foresight very important? Because if you don't have foresight, if you're not good at thinking ahead, you will find yourself getting surprised because these things, the nature of these things, these priorities, is always changing. Let me give you an example. Let's say, when I was little, when my mom was out with took me out with her and we're out running errands and stuff like that. Uh, Sometimes when we are at the mall, I would say, "Mom, I need to use the washroom," and my mom would say, "Well, how bad is it? I still need to get this, and that done." And I would say, "Well, it's not really bad yet." And my mom would say, "Well, okay, then you can go after I go and pay the phone bill." Because, yeah, in her mind, paying the phone bill was very important, obviously, and maybe in her mind was more urgent because I told her I didn't have to go that badly. However, next thing you know, we are at the telephone company, stuck in a lineup for 2 hours, and now we are really in deep trouble because now my bathroom need is becoming very urgent. But because we've already stood in the line for 2 hours, my mom refuses to give up her place in the line to take me to the bathroom. And that's when accidents going to happen. Not that it actually happened to me before, but I'm just saying this is when lack of foresight, lack of thinking, sometimes will make that thing that is didn't look very urgent suddenly turn into an emergency. Right? So we have to have some foresight. Another example I can give you. This is like true personal, right here and now example. My computer didn't just start acting up and quit suddenly this weekend. My computer has been running slow and giving me glitches for well, almost the last 6 to 8 months. Now, while having a computer to perform my work and do things with is very important to me, I kept putting it off to taking it to a geek shop because the problem was small. Okay, so the things loading a little bit slow and the programs crashing a little bit too much, but they were not big problem. I can live with it. We'll get it fixed later. We'll get it fixed. I believe it wasn't urgent. I believe a lot of us have experienced this, whether with your computer, with your car, with your house. You feel that it's not urgent now and you put it off, and suddenly, boom, it doesn't work anymore. Things falling apart. Now it's an emergency. Now you're caught flat footed. So, uh, having a little bit of foresight is very important to get these uh, little formula to work. The second important tip is to make sure you get all the information. Make sure you communicate and research. Very important. Because without sufficient knowledge, you are going to make the wrong call. And you may suddenly find yourself neck deep in frustration. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's say you are on your way home after a long, frustrating day at work, and you remember your wife calling you and tell you to get some milk. But you already drove past the store. You're quite a distance past the store. You don't want to do a U-turn and go back and fight the traffic to get to the store. And you say to yourself, it's just milk. It's not that important. I can live without milk for tonight. I'll get it tomorrow. And then you get home and realize the reason your wife wanted that milk is because she need to do some baking for a very important social function tonight. Yeah, now you suddenly find yourself in a world of argument, recriminations, and things that really you could have done without because, well, you didn't have the entire picture. You didn't have the whole information. She didn't tell you what the milk was for. She didn't think she needed to tell you what the milk was for. She told you to bring milk home. That should be good enough. You didn't really think to ask. Hey, I passed the store already. Is it really important for us to have the milk tonight? You assume that you can do without the milk for tonight, so it's fine. So, to recap, whenever there are things overwhelming you, things that seem like you don't do them, the world's going to end, sit down and actually sort them into these four categories and see if they're really that important and that urgent. They're maybe very important, but maybe they can wait. Maybe they can't wait, but you know what? They're not that important. Or maybe they're not important and not urgent at all, then you don't really need to worry about them. Apply a little bit of foresight, make sure you have all the information and knowledge, and life will suddenly become a lot more relaxing than it was before. I hope this worked for you guys, and uh, thank you for being here for another Soul Search Sunday. I'm not even going to mention Music Monday because I'm not sure if I'm going to get around to it tomorrow. I'll get around to it sometime. Don't worry. It's one of the things that uh, it's not very urgent and probably not super important. So we can all live uh, knowing that it will happen sometime. Anyway, have a good night and I'll talk to you guys whenever.